I'm Brad Jefferies, the new head groundsman at Colchester United. Started here in October and inherited a pitch with some problems. And hopefully the processes we're going to do this summer will mean that moving forward we have a significantly better playing surface than we perhaps had over the year just gone. I just wanted to sort of do a brief introduction as to what we're going to do and why we're going to do it. And yeah, there's been some very significant investment from the chairman into the pitch over the past few years, but especially this year. I just wanted to talk you through some of the problems we've had, what we're going to do, and how hopefully they will solve our problems in the future. So I'm just going to talk you through a little bit of some of the problems we've had in the past. So when the stadium was built 17, 18 years ago, we were basically built on a very heavy clay. So the original drainage that was put in over the last few years has started to fail. And that was the reason why probably 2 years ago, we had significant problems in terms of the drainage and gates being called off. In the summer just gone of the 24-25 season, the club again invested a significant amount of money in putting in a brand new primary drainage system into the pitch. And that was essential mainly because what we'll show you later on is the actual profile of the pitch. We basically have 4 inches of sand. Below that we hit direct clay. And the problem with that is when the drainage system started to fail due to the clay taking over the pipes, what's happened there is we basically got an 8,000 square foot reservoir. So no water was going through underneath the pitch. It all had to go out and be taken out manually. So the new drainage works and the system works really well. What we struggled with this year a little bit at times was actually trying to get the water to the drains, because it's still got to get through a hell of a lot of clay before it can actually get to the drains to be taken away. And that's where some of the processes that we'll talk about over the next few days will alleviate some of those problems. We basically have a 4-inch of fibre sand at the top, and then just there you can see that's exactly where we start to hit clay, and right there that's rock hard and really, really tough for water to get through. So we're on day 1 of the renovations on Monday the 19th of May. What we're doing today is we're just putting in some secondary drainage works down the wings of the pitch. So what the guys are going to be doing is they're basically using a whiz wheel to dig about 250 mil down into the surface. And then we're going to backfill that with sand. And what this is going to do is just help the water get through the pitch into those primary drains that we put in last year. We're doing both wings because they were the main sort of problem areas, or have been. And yeah, this is just going to be an integral part of hopefully helping some of the drainage issues moving forward. So we're at day 2 on the pitch renovations at the stadium this summer. What the lads are doing behind us now is they're just finishing off the work from yesterday on the sandbands. So they're putting some additional sand back in and patting it down and filling them down to about 10 inches, which again is going to help with that drainage, especially on the wings, and get the water through the profile of the pitch to the primary drains that we obviously put in last summer. And then the process today now is obviously when we killed off the pitch, we killed everything for a reason. And what we're going to do now is take away all of that grass. So we're using a process called corrowing, which is basically going to take off about 20 mil of the whole pitch. And it'll take away all the vegetation, all the grass, leaving a nice clean surface. Taking away all the grass basically takes away all the weed grasses, takes away all the poa, and leaves us with a nice clean surface, and also actually helps with the levels of the pitch to get a much smoother playing surface for next year. So we're on day 3 today of the renovations. So the lads this morning, Premier Turf, they've done an outstanding job so far. And what they've done this morning is they've cleaned off the pitch. They've done the second pass with the corro, which is mainly just getting the levels right and taking away any last little bits of stubborn grass. What we've started today is we've done the power harrowing. So basically we're fluffing all the pitch up and we're mixing the top sort of 3 to 4 inches and really mixing it and getting a load of air in there. And then what this will then do is allow us to then put the rakes across the pitch and manoeuvre the sand that's currently there to get it smoother and level, as well as getting a load of air, so plenty of space for those roots to dive down into. day 4 of the renovations today. We are rotor raking the pitch. So what we did yesterday is we power harrowed it and obviously fluffed it all up and effectively ploughed it. Now what we're doing is just getting the levels right. So the rotor rake will go across the pitch a couple of different times until the guys basically and myself are happy that the levels are where we want them to be. What it does is it takes the sort of the high spots and puts it in the low spots and highlights any low spots, so we can, when we do the sand dressing part, focus on them to try and get a really smooth playing surface for next year. After this process, what we're going to do is we're going to add 250 tonne of Mansfield MM40 sand. So it's like a medium coarse sand, but it's the industry standard, in my opinion, for what we should be using for pitches. So what we've done is, with 250 tonne going on top, we'll then either rotor rake again or lute it, depending on what we think will give us the best finish. And the lute again will just smooth it out, and again just take out any little low spots to ensure a smooth playing surface. Day 5, we have luted the pitch this morning and finished off the final little bits of the sand dressing. So the lute basically will just manoeuvre the sand and just make sure we get it perfectly level and smooth. And we've now started the process of seeding. So we are going to be seeding at about 50 grams per square metre. We've worked really closely with DLF and had quite a few meetings around what seed and what types of grass we're using. We're using 75% of the pitch is going to be Johnson's Premier pitch, which is a diploid ryegrass, and then 25% of the pitch will be Johnson's J4 Turf 100, which is a tetraploid ryegrass. And we feel that this will give us the best rooting, the best colour, the best playability for us moving forward this season. Seeding today. I'll put on a pre-seed fertiliser, and then we'll basically follow a sort of tailored and bespoke fertiliser program that I've created, using mainly sort of products from ICL, who are actually based in Ipswich, Consolidate Growing Solutions, and Agravista Amenity. And between those sort of three key suppliers and partners that I've used for a long time, we've sort of got a formula in place to provide us with the correct nutrient that we feel the pitch will need for it to be, where we want it to be on the first game of the season. Mainly through that process, it'll be we'll be irrigating every day just to try and keep the sand profile as wet as we can. And then we'll be using nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, lots of sugars like molasses, seaweeds, wetting agents, amino acids, and things like that to get the correct nutrition in the pitch to give us the best root depth, and ultimately the best coverage overall. What we're aiming for is 100% grass cover, as thin as, but the grass to be as thin as we possibly can get it, and hopefully that gives us the best chance of getting through the season with the best pitch we can possibly give. That's it, isn't it?